Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and today we have a brand new game engine. Yes, released just yesterday, up on Steam in early access. We now have Ultra Engine, and Ultra Engine is making some pretty big claims. That is 10 times the performance of Unity. Now, I think some of you, especially Unity developers, might be going, yeah, that's not too hard. I just want to keep in mind a quote from Mark Twain. There are three kinds of lies: lies, damned lies, and statistics. And when it comes to benchmarking, take it all with a grain of salt. But these are the numbers we've got initially when it comes to Ultra Engine. They're saying that the instance rendering goes from 40 frames per second up to 1200. Animations go from 64 frames per second up to 1179. Lighting goes from 90 to 1456, and batching, not to scale, goes from 2 frames per second to 6213 frames per second. So the entire core ethos of this game engine is all about speed and performance, and we're going to see if it actually lives up to those claims. Now, I'm not going to do any benchmarking or anything like that in this particular video. I'm just going to kind of show you the introduction to it. You can validate these numbers yourselves. Whenever you hear a grandiose claim like 10 times faster, I normally take it with a grain of salt, but you can understand from what they're claiming here that this is focused on speed. They're actually aimed more at VR development, where that latency is really important, but at the same time, their tool set is a little minimalistic right now because, of course, this is early access. Now, this is actually created from the same people, Ultra Software. They make Ultra App Kit, a UI layer I covered a while back, and then the Leadwerks game engine, or Leadwerks game engine. I'm not actually sure which one it is. Lead, so Leadwerks game engine. It's been on Steam for a very long time, and truth of the matter is, one of the big mistakes it made, I think Ultra Engine is making it as well, and that is there is no free tier. There's no ability to try this without buying it, and that is always a frustrating mistake in my humble opinion. But you've got two tiers of Ultra Engine. There is just the base layer. This has Lua scripting available and nothing else. To be honest, I don't think most of you will be that interested in this layer. You'd be more interested in Pro, especially when we look at the pricing difference. You're looking at basically $80 Canadian versus 130 Canadian for Ultra Engine Pro. Now, Pro is really where this thing is going to shine because this is the C++ engine. And if you want to have like a code-first C++ game engine that happens to have an editor that goes with it, Ultra Engine Pro may actually be a very, very good fit for you. So what we're going to do, jump in and take a look exactly what this guy is all about. Now, do keep in mind, this is early access software with all of the things that means. It's been in development for quite a while right now. You code your games with C++ using the Pro version. Again, there is the non-Pro version that is all Lua based. Again, I'm not going to focus that much on that one right there. In terms of features and functionality, it uses Vulkan graphics, supports multiple displays, PBR materials. You can load 3D objects from GLTF, OBJ, MDL, and FBX. It converts via GLTF, by the way. So GLTF is really your primary workflow there. Load image saving, processing, forward rendering with uniform lighting model, so no deferred rendering, by the way. Vertex, pixel geometry, and tessellation shaders, normal mapping, specular, post-processing, stack, hardware tessellation, environment probes, instance rendering, real-time mesh modification, a number of VR features, including Steam VR integration, controller input display. It's got an ECS, so if you're all about the entity component system, that is what it's using. A terrain system here, ability to load in models. Again, GLTF is the primary format there. You have animation support for skinned animated characters. Again, the core behind all of this is that it's fast. You also have physics built in here, pathfinding, various different sound support, a GUI layer. I wonder if it uses just Ultra Engine, but there is a GUI library in there as well, support for plugins, and so on and so forth. So those are kind of the grandiose features of Ultra Engine. But let's go ahead and take a look at it hands-on. Now, to do that, this is from Steam, so you can see I have it here. I was given an early access key for this guy, and let's go ahead and launch this guy. So you can also buy it directly from them. I will have the links down below if you wish to do so. If you do buy it directly from them, I do get a commission from that, so thank you very much. But I don't actually know if there's any advantages of doing that over buying it on Steam. So, yeah. Here we go. We are inside of the project right here. What we're going to do is go ahead and go to the project manager, and we'll create a new project from scratch. So we'll call that new project from scratch, like so. You do have the option here of C++ or Lua if you're using the Pro version. Obviously, if you're not using the Pro version, you will have Lua only. So go ahead and hit the next button here. I did run into one dependency. I had to install the Vulkan SDK. It may have been some kind of an issue I had behind the scenes. I'm not sure. But if you run into any issues, just go ahead and install that. So now we're going to go ahead, open up our project, and give it a second to load. Then it's going to look exactly like this. So here you are in the basic editor environment here. We can switch over, project view over here. Your selected objects, that like your tool canvas, I suppose you could say, is in the objects tab, and then individual details of your map are available here. You're going to find there is a basic map out of the box. So go here, map, and you load start. Okay, this is annoying. It should have a default file extension for its own file format. So what I gotta do is come over here and load it this way and here. So you load it up, very simple map like so. And there is the environment for handling everything. And you may be wondering, how does all the game logic work in this engine? Well, to do that, what we do is go over to the root of our project. You're going to see here we have a Visual Studio project. So yes, you do need to have Visual Studio installed. The non-pro version, the Lua-based version, uses Visual Studio Code with Lua integration. This one you use Visual Studio. As long as you make less than $1 million a year, you can use Visual Studio Community for free. So it shouldn't be a huge limiting factor. And then you can see it loads up your project like so, and your entry point is pretty straightforward. So this is the code controlling kind of the world that we're in, loads up the map by the map name, and you're off to the races. You go ahead, we'll run this quickly. And all right, so it's doing the build. I'll let this run in real time so you get an idea of how long build actually takes. It's reasonably quick. Now what you're going to find is the code from like a C++ level. It's very easy to understand, which is nice. You can see here basically they're loading up. Oh, there, you can't see because it's now loaded. So here we can see our world environment loaded in like so, and we've got basic WASD controls for our character over here. And you walk around the world. Pretty simple. All right. So the cool thing about this is it's a simple C++ file. So if you want to just start creating your own stuff, you can do that. So for example, here, I'm going to go back to their documentation, which, by the way, is entirely online. And you're going to find in certain areas, like, for example, if I come into programming reference, entity, models, and then say like set skeleton, you'll find an example here. It's a C++ example, and we can go ahead and click there. By the way, there is documentation for both programming languages, if you wish, available inside of the documentation. But as you can see, this example is actually a self-contained code example. So I go back over here to my project, and I'm going to straight out replace it. And then here we are. This isn't going to load a level, so there's no scene loading or anything like that. And we'll get back to the editor in just a second, by the way. It's fairly sparse for being early access at this point in time. But you can see this one shows you loading a couple of foxes using code. And again, the code to do so is really simple. So basically, you create your window, so you get your display, create a window of the dimensions that you wish, create a frame buffer for it, create the world that you're going to populate things in, set up and position a camera, create a light in the world, load in a plugin for loading free images. Then we load in the model, and we're loading in a GLB file over the internet, like so, via URL. Set a position and scale for it. Then we create a second instance of the model, and then we're off to the races. Now I'm going to we'll tweak this out slightly. So I'll just copy and paste. All right, so we're going to if you want to change this code, so instead of loading one model, you load a bunch of models. So what I just did is I created a vector of shared pointers of models, and now I'm just going to basically go ahead and a 20 by 20 grid of them. So we'll see what the performance is like there if we do a lot of skinned models, and let's see what it does. But you can see here, working with the code is literally just 20, 30 lines of C++ to get something going up on screen. And there you see a bunch of animated models. Now they're a little big, so let's just go back here, and you get an idea of how much you can play with. So instead of scaling it down to 5%, we're going to scale it down to 1% of the size of the original model, and we'll go ahead and run it again. But you get an idea of what the build and feedback cycle is like with this, and I think this is, again, the appeal of this engine. If you were looking for, so there you see a number of skinned animated models all running real time, and then again, here is the actual code to control it. So if you wanted to have that code first C++ game engine, this could be a really good fit in that regard. There's not a lot of things in this space, especially things that encourage playing around with the code as much as this one does. This is not hard to get up and going with, but you do still have this editor over here. There are definitely some areas where it needs work. Like, for example, earlier on we saw with the maps, there's no extension with the .ultra, so it loads it up. It tries to load it with Explorer instead of you have to go to File, Open. Another thing you'll find is, for example, no tooltips, which is very, very frustrating. But let's go ahead. We'll create a new scene here, start from scratch, and then we'll go ahead. Let's load in a new model. So we'll go into the models folder here. And what you could do is basically right-click, open that folder. So you got the file directory right there. I have another one that I created. So this is a Cinti file I've brought over to GLB format right there. So now it is imported in. It will automatically pick it up. And let's see how well it imports assets. So drop that into your game world like so. And there you see. So nice quick performance in that regard as well. And yeah, you see the world there. Now the interesting thing is the scroll wheel doesn't increase your speed of navigation. It kind of jumps you forward and back, which is a little jarring. Otherwise, it's the standard WASD keys to navigate the scene, right-click to move around, and that kind of stuff. And this is an example of the light. Now, actually instancing things in the world gets a little clunky. What you do is you come over to the Objects tab, and then you pick the perimeter that you wish to do. So make sure you're in this mode right here. We've got box, and I can literally just create a box in the world. And then to do the same thing for lighting, light, and then I can pick like a point light or whatever, and then I click and point it in the world. Let's make sure that I'm actually in. So again, a little bit on the clunky side there for instantiating things into the world, like so. And I don't know where my light was actually created. So there's definitely some usability issues that they need to tweak with the UI layer. So there we see we've got our original box selected. To handle those things, you should go to, where are the properties of these things again? I think in map. Yeah, so here is like your tree view of everything that is in the map. Like so my light will be in there somewhere. You can actually search down between things. And then if I wanted to add physics to my box, I could come in here, turn physics on. So gravity, have it enable gravity, and then it will fall when it is loaded or whatever. So you do have basic settings here. You got a couple of other components available. So you see the various different things. So you can add player controls, first-person controls, or VR player or whatever, collision managers, and so on in your world. So it's got a light-based component system. This is an ECS system, though, so you could create your own components easily enough. And then, yeah, that's kind of the outskirts of it. There's other functionality as well. So let's just zoom out of this map a little bit, show you, for example, and again, the interface is a little on the clunky side for creating things like this split up as it stands. You will get used to it, but again, it is a little odd. So here we can go ahead and we create a train in here, or should be able to create a train in here. Quit train mode. Okay, so drag and create. So there is our train right now. And then if we go over to, nope, it's over here. If I go over here, I can now go into train editing tools, and you'll see we're in sculpt mode, so then I can hold down like so. We can sculpt the map out that way. I can hold down control, and we can do a negative cut the other direction. You have tools here for painting textures into your world as well. And that is kind of the basics of the editor side of things. So the editor definitely, again, is the most early access part of this, in my opinion. The code side of things seems to be pretty robust, and it seems to be the focus of things. But this has the ability, you basically create your levels, instantiate things here, and then you can load in scripts. By the way, there is script access here, so you can add Lua scripts. You still can use Lua scripts for your game logic if you so wish. And there is a Lua language reference link in here. Oh, that's literally just Lua. But what you'll find when you go to the documentation, so for example, if I wanted to see how do I do something with audio, I can come into the audio section over here, pick a thing over here, and if I'm looking at the documentation, so say load audio filter, you can get Lua details here, and then what you're going to notice here is I'm getting a full-blown chunk of Lua code here that I can now, you know, a full project right there. So if you don't have the pro version, you're not working with C++ and Visual Studio, you still have the documentation. The documentation has a number of full-blown extension or samples implemented in like the Lua language, etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Ultra Engine. Again, early access. It is claiming 10 times faster performance than the Unity game engine, at least in certain results. So that's their claim on this one. But the entire focus behind this one is, again, they want to have like an ideal engine for VR rendering, which requires, you know, very quick drawing, low latency. Otherwise, if you have less than, some say 90 frames per second, some say even higher than that, you can start getting motion sickness. So that was the focus behind Ultra Engine. You're going to find probably feature-wise, it's missing a bunch of stuff that you would like to see. And as you saw, from the experience with the editor. So some of it worked really well. Bringing this map in works flawlessly. Moving around the world, it's clean and functional and so on. There's definitely going to have to be a usability pass. So there are aspects of this that are a little clunky, like when you saw me trying to create a light in the world. This whole thing could probably be redone completely. So that aspect of it is a little clunky. You got to be over in this mode or it doesn't do anything. You have to drag to create the light. So that's why I didn't create the light earlier, by the way. I clicked and then selected. So what you actually have to do is drag to create. But then you have to toggle back. It's very clunky at this point in time for instantiating things, and again, for things like mouse overs. But I think the ultimate side of this that most people are going to be interested in is this, the actual code side of things, especially C++, but of course there is a Lua option as well. An easy-to-use, full-functioning, code-based C++ game engine that is performance-focused, that also has a 3D editor. You're not going to find that very often, and that's kind of, I think, where Ultra Engine is going to shine. I, again, would really like to see them offer up some kind of either like a time-limited trial or a free version or something, because if you can't get your hands on this, you're not going to commit to it because there are so many game engine options out there. I think that was a big mistake that Leadwerks made in the first place, and hopefully Ultra Engine get around that, do some kind of a demo so people can check this one out without having to put money down. But if you are interested in checking it out, it is available now as early access software, again, in the 2 different tiers, and you're looking at about, what, $55 US right now, and probably $80, $90 USD for the Pro version, and they're currently 10% off because they literally just launched. So let me know what you think of Ultra Engine. Did you use Leadwerks in the past? Is that lack of a free trial part a deal breaker for you, or do you just not care? Let me know these things, comments down below. I'll talk to you all later, and goodbye.